Hello everyone and welcome to WordPress User TV. This is yet another new Divi 3.0 theme tutorial. So in this tutorial, we're designing this business consultancy page. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let me show you how to create this page. Okay, so first of all, we're going to create a brand new page. So we're going to come over here to Pages, click on Add New. Now we can call this whatever we want. So I'm just going to call this Consultancy. Right, so next I'm going to click on Use the Divi Builder and we're going to go straight to the Visual Builder. Right, so the first thing we're going to do here is to add our column. So I'm going to click this plus button here, add a single column, and this is going to be a text module. Click Add. I'm going to paste my text in here. I'm going to come over here to the Design tab, click my text, and then we are going to center this text like that. Now the font we're going to use is Lato, so I'm going to come over here and select Lato like that. Okay, so I'm liking that. I'm going to make it bold and I am going to make it slightly bigger. So I think 17 is fine and I'm going to add some letter spacing. Okay, so that should do. Okay, brilliant. All right, so now that I'm happy with that, for now I'm just going to go ahead and save change. Next, I'm going to duplicate this text module. I'm going to go into the settings. And I am going to replace this text with this business consultancy template. Next, I'm going to go into the Design tab, click on Text, and I'm going to make this text bigger. So I'm just going to increase it here like that. So I think 36 is fine. And for now, I'm going to save. Next, we are going to add a divider. So I'm going to click this plus button here, and I'm going to search for my module like that. Show divider. Next, I'm going to go into the Design tab, click on Color, and I'm going to select my color, and I'm just going to use this color here from my palette. Come over here to Styles. It's fine as solid. And then I'm going to click on Sizing, and right here we can see it's 1 pixel, so I'm going to make it about, I'd say 4 pixels is fine. Now the width here is at 100%. I'm going to reduce that and then align it. Okay, let's do that a bit more. Okay, that's looking much better at 35%. Right, for now, let's go ahead and save. Next, we're going to add a background image. So I'm going to click this gear icon here on the section settings, and then we're going to click on background, click the third tab, click the plus button. Now, all my images I'm going to need in this design are all in my media library. So all I have to do is to come over here and select my image. So I'm going to click on it here, click upload an image. And now you can see that our design has started to take shape. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So what I'm going to do next, you can see here that our text is not visible on this dark background. So what we need to do is to change this text and make it light or even white. And then we're going to make this background image a bit dark so we can read the text. So I'm going to come over here into my settings, click on Design, Text, and then I'm going to change this color from dark to light like that. Save, do the same thing here. Now the reason why I hadn't done this earlier on is because I didn't want to add some text which we could not see. So that's why I'm coming back in here to actually change the color. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. That's looking good. Next, let's make this image a bit dark. So let's come over here to our section settings again one more time, click on background, and this time I'm going to come on this second tab, click this plus button here for our gradients. So my first color here is going to be black. In fact, I'm going to make this true black by adding all my zeros, 6 zeros. Okay, and then my next color here is going to be white. Excellent. So I'm going to come over here to the third tab where I had my image, and then I'm going to come over here to my blend, my image blend, and set this to multiply. So now we can see that this multiply has been applied and it has made our image a bit dark. So that's looking good. We can always come over here and do the adjustments of the angles. But for now, we're just going to leave it at 180 degrees. And our start position, you can see here, we can also play around with that if we need to, and our end position as well. So I'm going to leave it as it is right now and click on Save. Okay, so next I'm going to add another module, but this time it's going to be a video module, but this is an option. You can either add this or you can leave it out depending on what your company needs. So if you have a company video, you can always add it in there. So now I'm just going to add a bit of padding onto this Okay, so now I am going to come over here to my expand settings, click this wireframe view. So I can see here that I've got my text, divider, and text. I'm going to click this plus button here, add our video module. Click this icon here to go back into our desktop view. I'm going to paste my URL in here for my video. Right, so we can see here it's looking massive, so we can go in and do ours and do some adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to design, sizing. So the width is set to 100% at the moment. I'm going to reduce that until I'm happy with the size I need, and then center it. Okay, so you can see all our options here are right here in the design tab, which is really, really cool. Right off the bat, I can see that on the top here, this gap here is a bit too small. We need to add a bit of breathing space. So I'm going to come over here to spacing. In fact, let's try 16. Okay, that's better. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and save changes. Okay, so our page is starting to take shape. Next, we are going to add a new section. So I'm going to come over here, click this plus button here, and we are going to click on regular, and we need 3 columns. Right, so what we need here are images and some text. So I'm going to start off with my image module. Click upload, and now I am going to search for my image that I need. So I'm going to start off with this one right here, upload image. So what I'm going to do next is to do all my settings in here, and then I'll just duplicate this. So when it goes on to the second and third image, it'll have all the settings I need. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to design. So I don't need any borders for this. I'm going to come over here to animation. In fact, instead of slide, let me use fade. So I'd rather have this fading in. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and save. Right, so now I'm going to just copy and paste this over like that. Right, now before I carry on, if I'm moving a bit too fast, what I'll do is all these things that I'm teaching you in this tutorial, I have them in a course, and I can send you a link to that in the show notes. Now this course has everything that you need to know about Divi, and you can have access to it absolutely free if you buy Divi through my affiliate link. So just bear that in mind as we're going through all this. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my settings, and I am going to change that image. Click upload, choose my second image, upload an image, save, go into the settings, click upload, and then I'm going to add my third image. Right, so that's looking good. I'm going to save for now. Next, I need to add my text below these images. These images here, they could represent maybe your services that you provide for your company. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus button here to add a text module. So here we're going to add some text. Okay, I'm going to paste my text in here. And then I'm going to come over here to the design tab, click on text. Let's make it slightly bigger. Right, so 16 I think is fine. And my line height is fine. The text color, let's see, we can play around with the colors that we have here. So I'm going to choose this for my text color. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to save. And then we're going to copy and paste this over. Like that. Like that. Okay, so now that we have our text in place, the next thing we're going to do now is to give a title to this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this text that I've used here on the top and just bring it down to the bottom here. So in order for me to do that efficiently, I'm going to come over here to my wireframe view, and then I'm just going to click and drag. Right, so I'll start off with a divider. In fact, before I do that, I need to duplicate this and then drag it all the way to the bottom here. Right, so I'm going to add a new row. And then I'm just going to close that. So now my divider can come in this row like that. And then I'm going to drag this text and place it above here like that. And then finally, we just need to drag this complete row above those images. Now, if you would like to have a quick preview, you can click this desktop view, and we can see here that our text is now on top. Right, so we need to go back in there and change the colors of that text, because we can't see it because of the background. Okay, so again, I'm going to click my wireframe view, click on the gear icon here, click on design, text, and then we're going to add our color right here, like that. Okay, let's have a quick view here. Okay, so now we can see that our text is now visible. So we also need to do the same thing here with the divider line. So I'm going to save this for now, and then I'm going to come back in here, click on design, color, click this button here to adjust our colors, and then I'm going to add my color. So here you can play around with different colors. So you could try that to see if it works, but right now I can see it's not. So I'm just going to keep it, with the same color as the text. Okay, now just looking at that, I can see that it's a bit too thick. So let's go in and make some adjustments there. Okay, so we're going to come over here to sizing. So let's bring it down to about 2 pixels, or maybe even 3. Okay, I think 3 will do. Okay, and let's make this a bit smaller, maybe 30%. Okay, so that's looking better. Let's go ahead and save. So moving on. So now that we've designed this section, let's move on to the next section. So we're going to click this plus button here to add our new section. So this is going to be a regular section, and we are going to have 50-50 columns. So in the first column here, we are going to have an image like that. I'm going to select my image from my media library, and this is going to be my image I'm going to use. I'm going to click on upload an image. Okay, excellent. So next I'm going to save this for now, and let's add our background color because I want to see how my background color looks as I'm designing this. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus button here to add our background color. Okay, so I kind of like that. So again, you can play around with different colors here to see what works. Okay, so these are the colors that I have on my color palette, but I think I'll just go with this. Okay, excellent. I'm going to save. And then I'm going to come over here to my second column, click this plus button, and this time we need these bar counters. Right, so I'm going to click this plus button here to add our title for the first bar. So here I can add, the services. So let's say marketing is the first one. Percent, let's add 80%. So I'm going to leave the background as it is. So we can come over here to design the bar counter. We can add a color to that if we want to. So I think that one works. Okay, that's fine. We can come over here to the text, and we can make some adjustments to the text. We can make it bold, all caps, and we can make it slightly bigger. Yeah, I think 16 will do. We're going to add some letter spacing to that. Okay, 2 is fine, and some line height. Okay, so that's looking good so far, but the color is off. So let's add this text color, and I'm going to select my color right here. So that's looking much better. So percentage text, again, we can decide what we need to do with that, but for now, I'm just going to add my color. So I'm going to add this color here for consistency. So that's looking good. We don't have to make it any bigger than as it is right now, so we can leave everything as it is. So I'm going to click this arrow here, the back arrow, and then I'm just going to duplicate this a few times like that, and then I'm just going to go in and rename these. So here in my text, so the first one is marketing, the second one could be social media. Okay, let's go on to the third one. Okay, so next here we've labeled this social media, so that's looking good. We're going to save this. In fact, I was just about to make a mistake. You don't save this. All you have to do is to come over here to the top and click the back button. Okay, so let's go into the next one. So we've got marketing, social media. Let's call this video. Okay, so I'm going to click the gear icon here, change this to video. Like that. And then all we have to do now is to change the percentages. And this is something that I forgot to do, but you can always go in there, maybe add 17 here, go back. For the social media, let's add 90, like that. And the first one is okay at 80. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay, so I'm going to save changes. Now, you can see where I'm going with this. We are going to need a title to come over here. So we're going to do like what we did before. We're going to duplicate the text and the divider module. So I'm going to save this for now. And then I'm going to come over here to the bottom, to the wireframe view. Now, the reason why I use the wireframe view is because I can then see all my modules and my sections much easier. So here, if I scroll to the top, I can see this is my divider and this is my text. So I'm just going to duplicate this and the divider like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to drag it all the way down here. Drag it. And again, I made that same mistake. I need a row first, so these modules can go in that row. So I'm going to click this plus button here, single row, and then just close that. So it's the divider that I dragged. So I'm going to drag this into the row like that. And then I'm going to come back here and drag this text all the way down like that. So the text needs to be on the top and then the divider on the bottom. So let's do a quick preview and see what that's looking like. Okay, so I'm going to click my desktop view. And we can see here, actually it's dragged all the way to the bottom, but that's not a problem because we can always go back to the wireframe view and then just drag this whole row like that. Okay, so the row with my text and my divider is now above my image and my bar counters. Okay, so let's click the preview, scroll down, and now we can see this. Okay, we can just go in here and say, see our performance, maybe, or whatever text you may need to add there as the title of that section. Okay, in caps, see our performance. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to change the width of this divider line because it's a bit too long. So again, I'm going to come over here to my wireframe view, click on the settings of the divider, go into design, sizing, and then I'm going to reduce this to about, say, 25%. And let me do this while I'm watching this. Okay, fantastic. So you can see here now that it's slightly smaller, and that's looking good. Right, so it's time now to, in fact, before we do the final touches, let's add some padding, okay? So I'm just going to come over here and drag this until I get to about 100, and do the same here for the top, just to give this a bit of breathing space. Okay, so that's looking better. We're going to do the same thing here, up to about 100, and we're going to do the same to the top. Okay, that's about 100. Okay, so it's important that you add this breathing space because it just brings that design and make it look much better. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to make this row slightly bigger. So I'm going to come over here to my row settings, click on design, click on sizing, and then I am going to come over here to my use custom width, change this to percentage. Now instead of 80%, let's change it to about, say, 75. Okay, so you can see now it's looking much bigger and it's much better. So I prefer using 75% in pretty much most of my designs. Okay, so that's looking good. And we're going to come here to the bottom and we're going to do that. We're going to do the same as well. So I'm going to click this gear icon, click on design, sizing, use custom width, and then we're going to change this to 75. In fact, you can just type it in here to make things easier. Okay, save. Now we can see that we have quite a bit of space now here, and we can actually add something else here. So let's add our social media icons, our follow icons. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this like that, and then just drag this under like that, and then we're just going to call this follow us like that, and then I am going to align this to the left like that. In fact, we might need this divider line as well, so I'm going to copy and paste it. Right, so we can see here it's not aligned correctly, so I'm going to come over here to my settings, click on design, sizing, and then here it's aligned to the center. I'm going to align it left, so now we can see that it's actually in the right place, which is good. Okay, Now it's time to add our social media icons. Okay, so let me save this for now. Click my plus button. I'm going to search for social media. Yeah, social media follow. So again, we are going to be adding these by clicking this plus button here. So I'm going to select my network. I'm going to start with Facebook. Okay, and I'm going to come over here to background. So we can play around with these colors here. So we can say, change this to whatever color we need. But the thing is, they come by default with the branding of these social media networks. So I'm going to leave it as it is. So here on the link, this is where you get to link to your Facebook page. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. But in your case, when you start using this template, you need to link to your Facebook profile. Okay, so next, I am going to go back here by clicking this back arrow, click this plus button, and just continue adding more networks. So my next network here is going to be Twitter. Okay, and then next, we're going to say maybe Skype. Go back. Say the next one. This one's going to be Instagram. Okay, that's looking good. And because this is consultancy, let's add LinkedIn because that's a professional network. Okay, excellent. So now I am going to save changes like that. And then I'm going to drag my divider line to the top. So I think that's looking much better because that just separates this information here from the bottom. Okay, so I am happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and save. So pretty much this is our page. So you can go ahead and download this. I'll leave a link in the show notes below so you can go ahead and download this and use it, as much as you want. Now, when you use this, the best thing to do is to come in here and change these images and replace these with your images for your company. But pretty much this is the layout. And there's one more thing that we can do here. We can actually come in here and go into overlay. Now in overlay, we can actually add an image. So I'm going to click on upload. And then this is my image right here. I'm going to use it for my overlay. Click upload an image. So the overlay just makes it look much better and much cleaner. So you can see here that it's looking much better. And if I mouse over it, it has this color that goes on it. This button here, the play button, we can change it by coming over here to design, click on play icon, and then we can change the color to whatever color we need. Okay, so, but just make sure that it's a color that stands out so people can see that it is a play button. Okay, so I'm just going to leave mine like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. So if you're brand new to web design, I have a WordPress course, which I'm giving away for free. Again, I will leave a link in the comments box below. And if you're comfortable with WordPress, the next step up, if you're a Divi user, is to master Divi. And I have a course called Divi Blueprint 3. Now, Divi Blueprint 3 has everything that you need to learn to master Divi. So again, I have a massive discount. It's a 70% discount. So instead of buying the course for $249, you're going to get it at $79. Okay, and again, details to that are all in the links below. All right, so thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments box and I'll do my best to answer those questions. And also, I've noticed that a lot of people are asking me about these images. Now, if you download this layout, it comes with the images, but all these images are all from Pixabay. So thank you very much for watching and see you in the next episode.